What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, May 24th, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 20:49 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming out of China. So, Xi Jinping, the leader of China, threatened the United States today, saying that the U.S. should not get involved if they were to attack Taiwan unless the U.S. wants a war. So he said, and I'm reading to you in quotes exactly this: Taiwan belongs to China now and forever. We can retake our territory at any time. The U.S. should not get involved unless they want war. Wow. Very strong words there from Xi Jinping, and this is coming just a few days after Xi and Putin had their big meeting together in China. And after this meeting, the Russian Foreign Ministry said that Putin and Xi's meeting would change the world. And now Putin is meeting with the leader of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. China has been doing drills around the island of Taiwan the last 2 days. They've practiced blockading Taiwan, and they've put their forces on maximum alert. And we're now getting some breaking news coming in that China has moved long-range missiles close to Taiwan. Apparently, these are long-range missiles of the 73rd Army Group Artillery Brigade of the Chinese Army, and it was shifted to a location close to Taiwan. Okay, so this is very, very concerning, guys. We know how these scumbags operate, okay? They call these things exercises, but that's how they deploy forces, okay? This is exactly what Russia did before they invaded Ukraine. They're doing it now with the tactical nuclear drills in Russia and Belarus. They've already loaded nuclear-tipped missiles onto short-range missile launchers, the Iskander systems, which are like a modern Scud. So Russia has put their tactical nuclear missiles on full alert status now. China has deployed long-range missiles close to Taiwan, and they're currently doing so-called drills around the entire island of Taiwan. Here's an aerial photo showing these long-range missiles of the 73rd Army Group Artillery Brigade of the Chinese Army deploying closer to Taiwan. So apparently these missiles can actually hit the capital of Taiwan if they want to, okay? So this is very, very serious, guys. All of this happening at the same time as Putin going to Belarus and the tactical nuclear exercises there. It looks like we're going to have three fronts pop off in the next few weeks. We're going to have China invade Taiwan, or attack them at least. We don't know if they're going to actually invade, but they may try to attack. And we're going to have Russia and Belarus attack Lithuania and the Baltics. And then we're also going to have Russia try to take over the second largest city in Ukraine, Kharkiv. And it's all going to happen simultaneously. That's why they're having these meetings. That's why Putin went to China to meet with Xi Jinping. And now Putin is in Belarus. Okay, this is the same thing Putin did before he invaded Ukraine. This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnyprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. So huge news, guys. And Taiwan has put their Patriot missile air defense systems on high alert. Okay, these are the American Patriot missile systems, and they are now on high alert all across the island of Taiwan. Taiwan has thousands of Patriot missiles. They've accumulated them over decades, anticipating that this day would eventually come. And the U.S. has been giving them and selling them to Taiwan for at least 50 years. Okay, so they have a ton of Patriot missiles, and it's not going to be easy for China to take over Taiwan, even though it's such a small island. It's surrounded by water. They have a lot of missiles, and so it's not going to be easy. It's going to be costly for China to try to take Taiwan. But China has such a massive population and such a massive industrial base that, I mean, they could prosecute a war against Taiwan for 100 years and it wouldn't even affect them. Here's an anti-ship missile system that Taiwan has put on high alert, very similar to a Patriot system. Okay, it's designed to sink Chinese warships. Okay, so huge news, guys. Also, a fleet of the Chinese Navy simulated an attack on naval targets in the waters near Taiwan. There were high speed maneuvers and stealth tactics employed. The Cheng Ho frigate of the Taiwan Navy approached a Chinese frigate within zero point 0.6 miles. And here we actually have some video footage of this so-called exercise that China is doing. Here you can see the long-range missiles being deployed, and those are bombers, okay, nuclear-capable bombers that Russia is using in this exercise, okay. But right there you can see this apparently Chinese or Taiwan Navy frigate here, just a half a mile apart from each other. Okay, so this is absolutely huge news. And we also have some major breaking news coming from Jens Stoltenberg, the leader of NATO. So he said in an interview with The Economist that NATO countries need to lift restrictions on Ukraine using NATO weapons on Russian territory. And what's interesting is this comes just a day after the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said he was going to be putting pressure on the White House to lift these restrictions on using ATACMS and other American provided weapons on Russian soil. And this all coming a few days after Michael McCaul, a pro-Ukrainian Republican from Texas, grilled Blinken and the Biden administration earlier this week, stating that Ukraine was literally fighting with their hands tied behind their backs, and that all the forces that are now attacking Ukraine in Kharkiv were massing on the border of Ukraine for months, and Ukraine literally could not do anything at all but sit back and watch, because they're not allowed to strike Russian targets inside of Russian territory, which is just absolutely stupid. And so the consensus seems to be that NATO is going to allow Ukraine to use ATACMS to destroy Russian artillery systems and Russian weapons, including fighter jets that try to strike border areas of Ukraine. Because what Russia's doing is Russia has all their artillery systems just a few miles from the border of Ukraine, and they're able to just pound the crap out of Ukraine right on the other side of the border, because they know that Ukraine cannot strike back. They're not allowed to, okay? And Ukraine doesn't have their own artillery that they can strike back with. They're reliant on Western weapons. So because of those restrictions in place, Ukraine literally cannot do anything. They just sit there and have to absorb all these artillery strikes, and Russia's just, you know, pounding them day in and day out. That's why Russia pounds the Sumy region, the Kharkiv region every single day, because they know that Ukraine cannot strike back. Okay, so this policy could change very soon, and that could potentially lead to an escalation. We'll have to wait and see. And I want to remind you guys that earlier this morning or late last night, we had two U.S. Air Force nuclear bombers fly into the Baltic Sea. I've never seen two of them fly up to the central Baltic Sea, just south of Stockholm, near the Gotland Island, and they took off from Britain. Okay, so this is a huge sign that the U.S. is prepared to go to war with Russia if necessary over the Baltics and over the Gotland Island. Here's a closer shot of the two B 52s, and they were just looping here just south of Stockholm, right off the coast of Stockholm. And B 52s, although they are non stealthy, it doesn't matter. They can carry a massive amount of long range cruise missiles that have a range of 2,000 miles, and they can each have a W-80 thermonuclear warhead, which has a blast yield of 300 kilotons. And each B-52, I believe, can carry like 16 of them because they have two pylons on each wing. Each pylon can carry three, so that's 12 on the wings. And then they have a bomb bay on the bottom of the B-52 that can carry several more, I believe four more. So that is a massive amount of firepower. And what's interesting is the timing of this, okay? Yesterday, we had major breaking news that Russia was removing border markings near the city of Narva in Estonia, okay? So what you're looking at here is the Narva River. This is a river that is basically a border between Estonia and Russia has buoys in the middle of the river to mark the border on the water. Okay, so this way fishermen and recreationalists don't go into Russia by accident. And Russia has removed all the buoys on the Narva River, so that is a huge sign that Russia is preparing to invade Estonia. There is a large Russian population in Estonia, especially in Narva, okay? Want to just show you guys what we have going on tonight over the United States. It's pretty quiet as far as nuclear forces go. I haven't heard any emergency action messages this evening. It's been very quiet. We do have a nuclear war command and control plane, though, up in the air over California and Oregon, and it was out in the Pacific communicating with our submerged nuclear armed submarines earlier this evening. And then we have this aerial refueler that is providing refueling support for the Biden household here in Delaware. Okay, Biden goes to his house in Delaware, and they have to have probably fighter jets patrolling the area. So just refueling support there, but otherwise nothing too crazy. Now, yesterday we had this interesting flight from Washington State, from Spokane, from Fairchild. There was a KC 135 that flew all the way down to the Baja, California area. And this is exactly the area where the FAA put up a NOTAM a week ago for Russian missile tests. Okay, they were saying that there were going to be Russian missiles landing in the water here off the coast of Southern California and Baja, California. Well, we had another aerial refueler go down to this area, and here's a closer look. It was looping in the exact area where that NOTAM was posted. So the U.S. military took down that NOTAM because too many people found out about it and they didn't want people to panic. But something's brewing over here, guys, okay? Now, earlier today, we had major breaking news that Ukraine destroyed yet another long-range radar in Russia. This was in the Voronezh region of Russia. This is special radar used for nuclear war. These radars can detect the launches of ballistic missiles headed towards Russia. And what's concerning is that Russia's nuclear war doctrine allows them to use nuclear weapons if any element of their nuclear triad or their ballistic missile detection system is attacked. Okay, so this could give Russia an excuse to use those tactical nuclear weapons that they've already deployed in these exercises against Ukraine. So we have to keep an eye on this. And Russia has already started issuing license plates for Russian vehicles for the Kharkiv Oblast. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that Russia is anticipating conquering Kharkiv and absorbing it into the Russian Federation. They're already issuing a registration region code. They're already issuing a registration region code 188 for Kharkiv Oblast, okay? So this is a huge sign that Russia plans to take over Kharkiv. They may not do it right away. They may not do it the way that we think they're going to do it. What I think they're going to do is they're just going to try to get to within artillery range of the city and then just pound the city with artillery nonstop until everybody moves out and there's no one left, and then they're going to come in and take it over. Okay, that's what they did in Mariupol. That's what they did in Bakhmut. That's what they did in Avdiivka. Okay, there's one thing about the Russian military that NATO fails to understand is that Russia is the king of massing forces and mobilizing large numbers of troops. Okay, they did it in the Second World War in the Battle of Stalingrad. They mobilized millions of troops, okay, in a very short period of time. Even though Russia doesn't have the most highly skilled troops, it does not matter, okay? They are willing to sacrifice 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million people to win the war, okay? And they will continue massing troops and mobilizing troops until they achieve their objectives. They will not stop, okay? So this is very, very serious. And Ukraine has announced a mandatory evacuation of children from the Kharkiv Oblast, okay? So this is another sign that the Ukrainian government is concerned about a Russian invasion of the Kharkiv Oblast. Lithuania has announced their intention to deploy troops into Ukraine. And we have the president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, claiming that they have halted the Russian advance in Kharkiv. We'll have to wait and see if that's actually true or not. I think that's a lie. I think Russia is just maybe temporarily slowing down, but it's just because they've made so many gains in the last week or so. They just need to replenish their troops and send new troops and equipment to the front, and then they're going to continue pushing deeper and deeper into Kharkiv. And British intelligence says that Russia redeployed some of its forces in Africa to Ukraine in April 2024. Now, what's concerning about that is this is exactly what Russia did right before the initial invasion. Okay, they massed a bunch of troops in the Donbass, and the U.S. just announced a new $275 million military aid package for Ukraine, which includes ammunition for HIMARS, artillery shells, mortar rounds, TOW missiles, those are anti-tank missiles, Javelin and AT-4 anti-tank missiles, precision aerial munitions, and also Germany is going to be giving Ukraine another Iris-T air defense system. This was confirmed by the German defense minister. And here we have video footage coming out of Kharkiv Oblast showing the Ukrainian forces mining the area very, very quickly because the Russians are coming. And you can see them carrying those large round mines. Those are anti-tank mines. They take several hundred pounds of pressure to detonate. Okay, and what they're doing here is they're actually blowing up this bridge with those anti-tank mines. So they placed a bunch of them in a small area, and they're going to detonate those mines from a safe distance to basically deny the Russians access to a certain area by removing the bridge. Okay, so they're going around and they're destroying bridges. So this is a huge sign that Russia is planning to take Kharkiv, okay? So I'm going to be monitoring all these areas of the world, and I will be updating you guys over the weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to post 2 updates a day, depending on whether or not I have time. I do have some family obligations this weekend, so I'm going to try to put out at least 1 update per day. If I have more time, I'll put out 2. But make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And also check me out on Telegram and Twitter. I post all these updates and more to my Twitter and Telegram. So if you're subscribed to me there, you'll never miss an update. And I will leave links to my Twitter and Telegram in the comments down below. So until tomorrow, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.